Alright, so for number 8, if number 7 was a quick problem with a quick trick to it, you know that number 8 is looking like one that's going to take a long time. So, let's go. Aw, yeah. Alright, so we have this recursive function that, and we're not trying to figure out, and it says express your answer as a common fraction. And that's going to tell you that we're looking for a ratio, which means we don't have to find the value of x, or well, it gives us the value of x to plug in. So let's hope that the algebra is in our favor here. Alright, so let's plug in 2. So we end up with f of 2 plus 1 over 2 times f of negative 1 over 2 is equal to 3. Well, that in and of itself is not too ugly. But the problem is we have another f of negative 2. Are you done with all your homework? Now, remember, we're trying to get f of 2. And we have an f of 2 right here. So we want to figure out what f of 2 is equal to. So let's subtract this whole term. So we're going to subtract 1/2 times f of negative 1/2 from both sides of the equal sign. And I will get f of 2 is equal to 3 minus 1/2, that's a half, folks. Sorry. F of negative 1/2. Alright, that's not too, okay, it's kind of nasty. But this is when things are really going to go off the rails. So we have this f of negative 2, right? Or sorry, f of negative 1/2. Which means we need to plug that back into the expression, right? So here we go. So that means that how should I write this? Okay, so I'm going to keep this here, and then I'm just going to express this portion anew. So that means that if we have f of negative 1/2, we'll end up with f of negative 1/2, that's this part right here, plus 1 over negative 1/2. Oh, I love it having complex fractions. Times f of negative 1 over negative 1/2. And we know that this whole thing is equal to 3. Yeah. Alright, great. So let's simplify this out a little bit. So we have f of negative 1/2 plus, well, that's the same as saying negative 2 times f of, wow, well, that gets flipped up. Negative times a negative is a positive, so f of 2. Oh, and that whole thing is equal to 3. The plot thickens, so to speak. So now we have two terms with an f of 2, which means we want to get the f of, let's get this all by itself. So we have f of negative 1/2 is equal to 3 plus 2f of x. Alright, so now we can substitute the second equation into the first. Great. Isn't that what you're looking forward to? So you know what do you know? you know that. So this is kind of cool. Almost like serendipity. F of negative 1/2. Well, f of negative 1/2 is equal to this thing right here, right? So that means that f of 2 is going to be equal to 3 minus 1/2 times, instead of f of negative 1/2, we know f of negative 1/2 is equal to 3 plus 2f of 2. And now I only have f's of 2. This is really exciting. Hopefully I'll be able to divide them out pretty soon. So, all right, so then we need to what do we need to do? It makes sense to distribute. So if I distribute this, I'll end up with, well, this will get me, this will give me a fraction. Well, I could do that. But you know what another option is? I could multiply by 6, or by 2. If I multiply by 2, I have no fractions. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's multiply everything by 2, because I have a denominator of a fraction right here. So I'm going to multiply everything by 2. I suspect I could have dealt with the fraction 2. So then I get 2f of 2, and then over on this side, I get 2 times 3, which is 6, 2 times negative, and so these cancel out, so I'm just left with minus 3 minus 3 minus 2f of 2. All right. Obviously I'm over time, but whatever. So I get 3 minus 2f of 2. So let's add, and that's equal to 2f of 2. I think we got it. Plus 2f of 2 plus 2f of 2. And so I get 4f of 2 is equal to 3 divided by 4 divided by 4. And I get f of 2 is equal to 3/4. Oh my goodness. No, I'm not getting that done in 5 minutes.